It's Thursday night, and you know that means party time is starting anytime soon. We're the Video Bros, and we're going to be with you in just a quick couple of minutes. So kick back, grab a drink, get excited because party time is about to kick off. And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night. And that means it's party time with us right here. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson. And the man beside me, the man with the angelic voice, he is Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, how the hell you doing, brother?
Munson, I'm doing great. How are you doing? And how are all my wrestling people out there?
I think you can tell I'm having a great time. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. It's party time with the Video Bros as usual, and we're gonna have some fun talking about wrestling. We're gonna let some of the people get into the room here to get started, get the party flowing before we start talking topics. Of course, Papa Smokes, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors here of our local establishment. We're talking about OLE. That's right, where you can use the promo code OLE Pods for 10% off an order from our good friends over at Rogue Energy, rogueenergy.com, where you can get yourself any of their great, wonderful flavors. They are vegan friendly. They are low sugar. They are perfect for somebody who wants to keep refreshed and keep energized, especially when you're hanging out with a couple of guys like us on a Thursday night. Man, it's going to be a good one here, Pop Smokes, as we see. Hey, look who's in the chat. It's Basser, dude.
Yeah.
Favorite Thursday night tradition, boys. You got it, man. It's our favorite Thursday night tradition as well, too. Very happy to have you out here tonight. And I know you're excited, brother. 9 days. You were telling me earlier, 9 days. Prairie Pro Wrestling presents the Bridge City Beatdown, Papa Smokes. It's going to be an electric night of professional wrestling. We got a plethora of talent that's going to be coming in. We've got all sorts of cool shit going down. I've been working on those live videos. I think they're going to be ready in time. It's going to be cool having those things playing, adding to the atmosphere of the entire show, all sorts of stuff going down. But before we even say that, maybe we just want to take a minute. It's what I live for. It's what we live for too, my man. I want to just mention that we've got a really, really awesome opportunity coming up here, Papa Smokes. And I'm talking about in exactly 1 week. We've been talking this up for months already, that we managed to land the 420 special this year. That's right. The Video Bros, of all people, get to celebrate 420 with you guys. Yeah, we won't be partaking on screen, but every odd little commercial break or something like that. You never know what might be happening behind the scenes. Just saying. But what's really, really cool about this day is that same day, there is big things dropping. I'm talking about the music video to the song Akimbo from our boy NJ, big Prairie Pro Wrestling fan, local talent here. And that music video is dropping exactly in 1 week. And we get to not only play it live for you guys right here on the show. But what we also get to do is have NJ in the studio. He's going to be joining the video, bro. So you can come in, ask him some questions. Let's talk music. Let's talk pro wrestling, talk Prairie Pro Wrestling, talk about the video because it features a lot of talent for Prairie Pro Wrestling. Man, Papa Smokes, NJ, it is going to be a fun ass time having him here.
No, I'm so pumped about this, Munson, and I've seen some advanced copies of the video akimbo, and it's cool, man. It's local hip hop, local Western Canadian hip hop, and I'm very pleased to have the creator on this channel talking about some PPW stuff, talking about all kinds of wrestling, and hey, let's talk hip hop for a while. I'm pretty old school, as they say, but I like to get down with some beats and some rhymes also.
It never hurts to get down with the beats or the rhymes, and it's going to be a good time next week. And again, we'll be just chilling, 3 guys on screen, just having a good time talking about pro wrestling, talking about 420. We will be, paying respect to the legalization and the cannabis that we get to enjoy here in Canada that should be friggin' legal all over the world, because why are people ever being punished for this stuff? If you wish to partake, you should go ahead and partake, and we will say that proudly right here on Ring Respect Radio. We say that separately from anything else to do with our local establishment, just so you know. Our opinions don't always reflect all the opinions of everyone here at our local establishment. I just want to say that's Video Bros' opinion. We like the cannabis.
Always a legal disclaimer with you, Munson. I guess you didn't get to be Money Munson for nothing.
That's right. At one point in my life, I was definitely no Money Munson, but we've made that change over the years. A little bit of hard work and sacrifice, and you could climb that proverbial ladder eventually.
6 months is a long time, Munson. You're a different guy now.
That's right. But yeah, it's going to be a fun night here tonight, Papa Smokes. I thought we'd just throw out kind of a very different random category. In fact, there's been a lot of things going on with, of course, celebrities in professional wrestling coming out of WrestleMania. Of course, Logan Paul being involved with the WWE and extending that contract recently with them as well, too. So I just kind of wanted to talk about celebrities in wrestling. I want to get the opinions of the people in the crowd here tonight that are watching us live, or anybody who may be watching this as a replay on YouTube. Hope you subscribe to the channel, be part of that rise, get those subscribes. Let us know in the comments section who has been your favorite celebrity to step between the ropes. And I know a lot have in terms of singing, a lot have in terms of other performances. I'm more curious right now about the ones that have actually stepped into the ring to some capacity, whether it be, a big matchup that they had or anything. We talked about him a couple weeks ago, Andy Kaufman being a person that, comes up in that conversation. But what is your earliest memory, or maybe one of your favorite ones, of a celebrity being involved in professional wrestling, folks?
I mean, it's been going on as long as wrestling's been going on. There have always been special guests, and because of promoters in the old days often promoted wrestling and boxing, because it was the same thing more or less, right? They used the same ring and the same venue and all that. You might as well promote both if you're going to promote one of them. Excuse me. So the boxing has always had that close tie with wrestling, and a lot of the celebrities in the territory days and such were world heavyweight champions of boxing and stuff. I mean, Muhammad Ali has been a special guest in countless promotions over the years, including other guys before him, such as the Jerry Cooneys and the Rocky Marcianos, and the various champions throughout the ages have done crossover things with boxing, because half the time it was the same promoter promoting the boxing and the wrestling. Works for him, right? He's getting both audiences on his product. But yeah, the earliest ones I can think of are mostly sports stars, including ex-NFL players and that sort of thing, athletes that could come in and be trusted to take a small bump or to, deliver some kind of punch in a working fashion without annihilating the wrestler. And yeah, those are the first ones I remember. And then also WrestleMania 1. I mean, I was a kid for that, but that was a big deal too. And with Cyndi Lauper being involved, I mean, that's one of the biggest ones of all for sure, because she didn't just appear on 1 or 2 shows. She was in the main angle, in the main company in the country. and what was a huge piece of that, and including her appeal at that time and the emerging channel known as what was the big video channel down there called Munson? MTV. God, I just brain stall for a second there. Well, I was thinking of Much Music. That was the
that was the
Canadian
version. Yeah.
But anyway, can you imagine now, like, the biggest lady pop star, Ice Spice or Taylor Swift or somebody like that, being involved in an entire program on wrestling, a 6-month angled and doing in-ring spots and getting kicked in the face by the heel and stuff. It was just unheard of at that time. And that's one of the main ones for me was Cyndi Lauper. She was the hottest shit in music for a long time there, and doing wrestling at the same time.
Please do not will having Taylor Swift in professional wrestling for 6 months into the universe, Papa Smokes. I will never let you live that down. But yeah, I guess it would be payback for the Funhouse, right?
I'm just trying to think of someone nowadays that's of the stature that Cyndi Lauper was at.
Yeah, I mean, and that's tough because music does not sell on the level that it did back in Cyndi Lauper's time too. So to find someone like that, you'd be correct to think like somebody like Taylor Swift, who clearly is selling out concerts all over the world. So the assessment's correct. I just really hope that in this modern day, we're not going to see a program lasting 6 months involving Taylor Swift in professional wrestling.
What would you do with her, Munson, if you were the main guy in WWE? Obviously, is who she would perform with. What would you do with her?
If you had to use her in any capacity?
Yeah.
Outside of being a vocalist in any way, valet. I mean,
yeah.
Clearly it's a perfect fitting role. Again, you bring star power to the table and stuff like that. And I know that day and age seems to have been long lost. It's not quite as used anymore nowadays, at least not in WWE anyway, but why not bring it back? It would be a great opportunity. It's something that they've done before. I mean, you think about they've had all sorts of valets through the years. You know who else would make a great valet, Papa Smokes? Chris Parrish. He'd make it an absolute perfect valet. Oh, I think so.
Hell yeah.
Chris Parrish, how are you doing, buddy? Glad to see you. Are you driving home and listening to us right now, or just walking through the door, grabbing that first beer of the evening? Let us know in the comment section.
Hey, Munson, before I forget, when you were talking about having some new videos set up at PPW, does that mean we can call the entrance the Munson-tron now?
The Munson-tron. Ooh, that's got a nice ring to it there, Papa Smokes. I kind of like that. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, at least they're not on beta tapes. I mean, I'm not really, I managed to make digital copies. We've stepped into a new era. Parrish is just leaving work. That means he's listening in the car, because you know what? Your best way to drive home is listen to the Video Bros all the way from work to home, because we're going to cheer your life right up right before you crack that first beer of the evening and take that first sip. And then life starts to get a little bit better. Yeah,
or he'll get road rage, maybe.
How about Olay Vision? I got some cool news yesterday, Pops, folks, and I can't exactly share it live on screen here, so remind me afterwards. I got some cool stuff to talk to you about involving Prairie Pro Wrestling and stuff like that. So cool stuff to talk about that fans will find out about down the road, but some really, really interesting things. Video Brolay Vision. Now that's got something behind it there. I'm digging Video Brolay Vision. I that's memorable. Something tells me they're just going to play videos, though. There's not going to be any indication to the name of the little screen that pulls down from the top there and the projector that hangs above the ring is going to be playing these things. Hopefully it works. I mean, God forbid these have all been put together but they're not going to end up getting used because we can't get the projector working. But fingers crossed.
Let's make a cinematic podcast then.
A cinematic
one episode, a presentation, a piece of art, Munson. Let's let it. Let's let our artistic desires go wild.
Oh man, I bet that would really draw in the audiences there too. We just get some great direction behind it. We'll give it like a Sin City like overlay or something like that, almost comic book like feel. I see where we're going here.
Except it's under the Broadway bridge.
That's classy right there. You don't even have to hire any actors. The amount of characters you'd find downtown in Saskatoon,
Yeah,
in some of those areas. Oh my! The writing does itself. No effort at all. But we should probably talk a little bit more about these celebrities. I think Papa Smoke. Going back to what we were talking about. What would you do if you had somebody like a Taylor Swift booking in a WWE?
well, I like that idea of a valet, and there's a couple ways you could do it. If she was the valet of the baby face, then you have a heel that's threatening her safety, and that's a built-in nice little toasty warm angle you can do. But I also like the one where she's the heel's valet, but the baby face is nice and handsome, and she starts to fall for him. Then the fans get a love story. They get something to feel good about. I kind of like that second one even better.
Yeah. Well, I do too, Pop Smokes. I do too. I think that's a good one. Yeah. Either that, or I'm contemplating whether or not you're just becoming a little bit lonely there. Maybe you need to find a Mama Sports there to come and visit. She's around. Remember, you met her at PPW. It's just a matter of her coming back next time.
Yeah. She said she was coming back.
Hopefully she'll be there on the 22nd there, Papa Smokes, but she'll have to take a back seat to the bro party because that bro party is going to be off the hook come the 22nd. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
We got Basser, we got Chris Parrish, we got the two of us, we got the other boys from the posse down there. It is going to be electric. I could imagine there's not enough liquor in the bars to hold us back that night.
Yeah, that is going to be wild. Looking forward to it, Munson.
Yeah, it's going to be a good old time, as Master's saying, bro party. You got it, buddy. It's going to be a good old time in Saskatoon coming up on the 22nd. But going back to some of the people who have appeared, I know we talked about the old days. You talked about Muhammad Ali being one of them, of course, too. We mentioned Andy Kaufman. We kind of talked about him extensively during our talk not too long ago. But more importantly, let's go back to WrestleMania 1, because you said you were quite young when this first appeared. So what was that like seeing Mr. T being put in a main event for this now worldwide show that was going to be broadcast, this really experimental thing at the time? They were going to use a celebrity in their main event to help sell this thing to the rest of the world. What was that experience like at the time? I know what it's like to go back and watch it now, or even when I was a kid, but what was it like witnessing that as it went down?
Well, I've also been thinking about WrestleMania 1 recently because I watched one of those A&E biography things it was about the whole show, and they had some information in that I hadn't heard before. But at any rate, yeah, I was a kid, and this was pre-internet times, the old days as we call them now. And so we didn't have any inside information about any of this stuff. And when I heard Mr. T was going to be in it, I, of course, knew who Mr. T was. I knew that the A-Team was a pretty popular TV show, and I watched it sometimes. But I don't think I thought he was as huge of a star as maybe he was. I'm not sure. Maybe I just didn't know because I was a kid. I knew he was on a hit show, but yeah, at any rate, I also was skeptical about this, that he wasn't a wrestler, right? And I was wondering how this match was going to go, because how much of a fight is it going to be, and what are Piper and Orndorff going to think about this? And Mr. T's not nearly as big as any of those other guys, and I had question marks. And as we were talking about last week, this was part of when I started to turn, just thinking like they're just doing anything for attention now. Like they'll just put a bum in the ring that doesn't know how to wrestle, which is basically kind of what it was. I'm sorry, I'm not calling Mr. T a bum. I mean, he's like a non-wrestler. And but it was curious though too. I was curious. I wanted to see what was going to happen. And then other celebrities at that WrestleMania 1 were Liberace. That's really extremely weird because he was a celebrity, I guess. I'm not sure amongst who. I don't know who listened to his, like, he played classical piano beautifully, but he had such an outlandish gimmick, and he was so rich, and he had all these giant grand pianos. I was just thinking, like, what's he doing at a wrestling show? Of course, we know now that him and his mother were huge fans of wrestling, so it does make sense that he's there in a way. But do you remember that? He's got his arms around the Rockettes, and they're doing the can kicks, and that. It's one of the iconic images of WrestleMania 1 because that Liberace was so famous at that time. Who else was at that number one now? There was a few other people that were fairly big stars at the time, a couple of TV stars that did stuff. Was Alice Cooper even at one, or was he at one of the...
He was at 2 or 3, if I'm not mistaken. Just trying to see if I can find this here for you, Pop Smokes. But yeah, it's obviously, like you said, it was the Rockettes, it was Liberace, Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper. I'm just trying to see if there was any other ones. Yeah. And Muhammad Ali was the guest outside referee in the main event as well too, right, during that one. So there was that. And yeah, that was a game. That
was a game time decision to change that because Ali was supposed to be the main ref. But then as the match time grew near, they kind of realized T wasn't ready to do a match so great and that the guys were going to have to improvise a whole bunch. So they made Muhammad Ali special ref, but on the outside. And who came in and refed it in the ring? Pat Patterson, a guy that knows what the hell's going on in there, knows where to be and all that stuff. So that's kind of a neat little tidbit about that too.
Yeah, sure did. I just go back to these comments quickly. I talked about Taylor Swift. Chris Bear saying put her with Lesnar. He has that meme impression of Swift. Or put her with Dom Mysterio and have him get married. Dom take her last name, so he'd be Dominic Swift. And then Basser,
I like that one.
Basser wants to talk about Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was a big one because it involved DX. I was telling everyone to suck it back then. You never stopped, buddy.
No, not
parents,
Basser.
Teachers, whoever. You still go to parent-teacher meetings and probably tell the teacher to suck it, but but no, I mean, yeah, Tyson was big because I mean he was at the height of his fame in the professional boxing world. It was Iron Mike. He had been one of the boxers that kind of outgrew the sport in a way. He became bigger than what the sport was, and so his coming in was a massive deal at the time because he was at that level of stardom that went beyond the sport that made him famous.
For sure, and we knew kind of a little bit what Mike Tyson was like as a guy by that time, that he's a bit of a loose cannon, and he was getting, even when he was world champ, he was getting in fights at rap concerts and doing all kinds of bad stuff, getting arrested and stuff. So when he came, do you remember this moment when Tyson first came and got in Mike Tyson, in Stone Cold Steve Austin's face?
Mm-hmm.
With the police and the refs and everybody around them and that chaotic scene in the ring, and Austin flips him the double bird right up in his face. That was one of those moments where you're just like, who knows what Tyson's going to do, right? Like he's clearly a little bit unstable. He clearly has impulse control problems. And, on TV, having a tough guy flip him off like that, who knows what he's going to do? That's what was in my mind anyway. It worked perfectly on me, and that is one of my favorite face-to-face showdowns ever in wrestling, with Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle in TNA being a close second to that for its intensity as well. And but anyway, the Tyson brought some real drama to the ring, and just that legitimacy, that fear, that knowing that he could destroy anyone around him, kind of just gave him that aura of respect.
Yeah, and I mean he's an intimidating guy to begin with, but an interesting one nonetheless. I mean, talk about how cool would it be to have Mike Tyson on our episode next week, 420, or even at least to have some of his edibles on the show that we could try? Didn't he make gummy ears? Like, I think that's what they are. They're actually gummy shaped ears with the piece bitten off of them already.
And his business partner was Evander Holyfield.
I know it was. Fantastic. I mean, might as well make light of a bad situation, and that was a screwed up situation for sure. But yeah, Tyson, he had a massive effect. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Lawrence Taylor, because it's one name that comes up a lot when it comes to professional wrestling and how good he did in that main event at WrestleMania against Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, kudos to Bam Bam Bigelow in so many ways for being able to take him in there and be able to work with him and make that look as good as it did, because there was a level of excitement behind that. It didn't feel like just, I mean, it was a celebrity match. Let's not get anything wrong there, but it stood out. It really did. Lawrence Taylor, it made sense at the time. Bam Bam just being Bam Bam, shoving him in the face to kind of get that heat between the two of them leading up to this matchup. I mean, and they went all out with this thing too. They had, I believe it was Salt and Pepper performing live. They did the song "What a Man" as Lawrence Taylor came out to the ring. I mean, it was brilliantly performed, so well done, and a lot of people to this day still consider Lawrence Taylor to be one of the best ones to step between the ropes.
For sure, I would agree with that also. And just for my curiosity, wasn't LT in something before that match too? Was he in the Battle Royal at one of those early WrestleManias?
No, I think he was
only had that.
Wasn't he just ringside at Royal Rumble or something like that, which is where Bam Bam originally shoved him, and they kind of had that square off at that point. And I think that they then used him in promos and stuff on TV building up to that matchup and everything like that. So they had Lawrence Taylor out a couple of times for the showdowns with Bam Bam leading up to it.
Right.
I don't recall. I mean, I could be wrong. Someone could fact check that for us, but I
might be thinking of William Perry, the refrigerator. He was in one of those battle royals, maybe in number 2 or number 3. The one that was simulcast from New York and Los Angeles at the same time. The one
that was WrestleMania 2 with Bundy
and Hogan in the cage. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, LT was if you don't really follow the history of NFL football, was like one of the best guys ever to play his position as defensive lineman. He's an absolute maniac and a beast and huge and in awesome shape. And as we know now from his own words in his book, on a lot of cocaine the whole goddamn time. And he was playing like a Pro Bowler every single year. And he loved wrestling. And what he wanted to do was show off his athletic skill. And this is one of those matches. Vince and WWE are famous for these, as it's sometimes said, selling the sizzle, not the steak. And if enough people like the sound of that sizzle, they will pay their money to see it. By that time, it doesn't matter that much what the match is going to be like, especially with a novice worker like LT. What they want to do is focus on the good things, focus on LT's charisma and magnetism, have a cool entrance with a live band, Salt and Pepper playing, bring them out cool, make them look good, give them an excellent ring working heel to work with, and then let everybody see the two of them up there. Like, that's still one of the best things about those big guy matches. That's what everyone wants to see, is them standing there facing each other. They want to see how big and impressive and imposing they are. After that, if you do a couple of big power moves, you can have a short match that is still satisfying to the fans because it's a heavyweight tilt. That's what these guys did here. Nothing fancy. A couple of good spots. LT showing off his strength and athleticism, coming off the top rope with the clothesline and all that. Wow. And as you said, Bam Bam, one of the perfect guys to lead him through that. Such an excellent and generous worker in there. Did all the big bumps, did all his awesome big guy bumps. and you got a classic match out of it. LT, that match will always be remembered as one of the better celebrity in-ring performances for sure.
Now, as awesome as that one was, there's also ones that maybe aren't so good, and I don't know if you'd even consider them celebrities. This one will be a fun topic to talk about for a few minutes, but do we remember Zeus?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Now, Zeus, this one came about, if I'm not mistaken, they put him into wrestling after the movie No Holds Barred came out. That's when WWF wanted to use him as somebody, and he appeared in that cage match at SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken, on one side. I think if was it Ted DiBiase had brought him in or something like that and put a team together to go up against Hogan, and who knows? I can't quite recall. Someone else can probably recall for me, but along those lines to help promote the movie No Holds Barred at the time.
Yeah. Well, not only wanting to promote the movie, but I'm glad you brought this up, but I can't remember what was happening. I know that they were short a top heel for some reason. Now, who would that have been? I want to say the Earthquake or something couldn't go that summer, or the guy they had slotted in to be Hogan's dance partner for the summer or for a couple of big shows was unavailable or injured or something like that. I can't remember what the story is. That's one of the reasons they decided to bring that guy in. You remember his first appearance, Hogan smashes the chair over his head, and of course he's unhurt and unaffected by it. Hogan's big bulging eyes of how scared he is about that. And I'm kind of thinking, is that the guy from Friday, like the tough guy in the neighborhood from Friday? Okay. And he's got kind of one eye looking at you and one eye looking for you sort of thing. But yeah, at any rate, that one didn't turn out so great. And they sold some sizzle, but there was no steak left for the fans.
That's right. And as we were starting to bring Zeus up, of course, Chris Best, CBRS Entertainment. Chris Best, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us on a Thursday night. Zeus terrified me as a child.
Yeah.
Intimidating
he's so
dude.
big.
I mean,
he's so big.
I mean, but just not anything like that's all he was so big. I mean, he wasn't a wrestler. He wasn't an actor. If anyone's seen No Holds Barred, mind you, not very many people in that movie were actors for that matter. What a terrible movie. A terrible movie that I have seen many times as a child. Just like I've seen Mr. Nanny, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Damn it, Munson.
I know I'm terrible, aren't I? Let's not get into the fandom of Mr. Nanny here on Ring Respect Radio. And but yeah, Zeus, it was an interesting choice. I know when it comes to more of the modern stuff, especially from WWE, you haven't tuned in as much, Pop Smokes, but there's a couple that have been doing it as of late. I wanted to touch on the first one. That would be Bad Bunny, who's going to be probably involved in the upcoming pay-per-view. It's going to be going over to Puerto Rico, which is where he's from. So, he's going to be kind of hosting and doing that kind of stuff. I know that from what I've understood, he really big fan, trained extremely hard. Like this is something he loves to do. My only thing was that when they put him in the ring at WrestleMania that everybody loves, it made it look kind of silly when you got him doing a Canadian Destroyer to Damian Priest, which is, I'm not a fan of the Canadian Destroyer as it is because of the overuse of it. But when you do it to a guy who I think should be put in a star position, at least higher up the card than what he was, I just don't see the visual looking right when Bad Bunny does that, when he comes in as a singer coming in and being able to do a move like that so easily without a bunch of matches that he's had prior to that, building up the fact that he's learned and progressed with time kind of thing, instead of just somebody who was shown repeatedly over and over again and with the right cooperation could get it done. I'll get to you in a minute on that. I just want to get to these comments. Chris Best saying, you can make Zeus a wrestler. He is a downloadable character for WWE 2K23, and it must take 20 minutes for him to get his stiff ass down to the ring. But when it comes to worst celebrity wrestling matches, that one that Snooki was in at WrestleMania really sucked. Oh. I forgot they let Snooki into a wrestling ring. Oh my God.
A WrestleMania?
Oh my! Wow! 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 Auntie Wuji, you're late. That's okay. But what'd you miss? Oh, you missed the beginning of the party, the first 35 minutes of party time. But that's okay. We'll stick around a little longer now that you're here, of course. We just been talking about celebrities in professional wrestling, their use in professional wrestling. We were just talking about Zeus before. Now we got Snooki brought up. And God, I know this happened, but I tried to push this out of my memory that this happened, and now it's coming back to me. It's haunting me at this time. No offense to Snooki, but it did not belong. Like that just was not a good idea at WrestleMania at all.
No, but you got to remember the way Vince is looking at it. Everything's a marketing tactic, and Snooki had been on Jersey Shore, which was, whatever you think of that show, it was a number one show for a while there. It was the it show that everybody was talking about. So to have that one of those stars on there was a feather in his cap, and it almost didn't matter what they did. No one remembers it now because no one cares, because no one remembers Snooki anymore. But at that time, that worked. And I'm not saying the match worked, but having her there did.
Yeah. It brought those outside eyes looking in is what they're always trying to go with. Oh, this is another one I almost forgot about. Kevin Federline did a stint on Raw, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have, but yes, Kevin Federline definitely did.
He pinned John Cena. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he got in there with his dirty white beater that he had on there. Looked like he hadn't washed it in about 3 weeks. Same about the amount of time since he had washed his hair. But yeah, he was in good form. Like he was looking like Kid Rock's stunt double at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's quite stretching it as to the term celebrity for sure. I mean, he was married to a celebrity, but yeah,
celebrity by association only for Mr.
Yeah.
Federline. Hey, didn't he put out some music or something like that nobody listened to?
I think that was those appearances were hyping his solo album. If I recall correctly, I was watching a little bit of Raw at that time, and yeah, I think that might have been the case.
That might have been. But yeah, I mentioned about Bad Bunny. Another one is Logan Paul, though, and I don't believe you've had a chance to go and watch what he has done yet, Papa Smokes, but there's a lot that can be said about Logan Paul and how he has adapted in the way that he has so far in terms of being able to get in there and irritate a crowd in a way that's right. Like he's got the charisma to do it and everything like that. When he was getting in there in the one match and he was doing the whole mocking Eddie's moves and stuff like that, I mean, he knew it would draw heat, and it drew heat. And that was the best part about it. Like he had a solid match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He had that solid main event match in Saudi Arabia with Roman Reigns. And I know that these guys are skilled guys who've been in the business a long time, and they can help to carry him in a way and make him look good. But I mean, say what you want about Logan Paul. He has a lot of charisma. He's in great physical shape. He has learned what to do, and he draws eyes onto the prize. I mean, and again, you talk about what Vince is looking to do. That's exactly what he's looking to do. And it's what they've been able to do, capitalizing on Logan Paul's appearances so far in the WWE.
No, it's so smart to do. Can you just remind what's going on here?
Pastor saying he's better than 80% of the AEW roster in ring and on the mic outside the ring. I feel he's a nuisance, but I only care about the wrestling.
Well, that's fair. But Munson, can you remind me, like I know that Logan and Jake Paul are big on YouTube, but what was their content before, like pranks and stuff like that?
Yeah, just general going out and just doing stuff and being kind of wild and crazy and everything. I actually spent some time listening to a interview done with the guy who would put together the videos for Logan Paul on his YouTube channel, and just how he was able to make these videos into something that people would watch. He said they would go out and shoot Logan Paul just doing random stuff for like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. And then he would sit down and he would narrow this down into like 4 to 5 minute video segments that they would upload to YouTube. And then that short form media would get them people binge watching. If they put out a whole video of just what he did all day, people would turn it off in a matter of seconds because it's too long. But the idea that these 5-minute videos existed, they would go, oh, I can watch one. Oh, I can watch two. And then next thing you know, they watched all 6 hours, not realizing that they had done it because they get, oh, okay, I got one more, until they've sat there all day binge watching it. And I mean, the dude is brilliant to put these things together, and how he's grown multiple channels here on YouTube. I really have taken a very good shine to guys like that. I really want to learn as much as I can so that I can slay the beast known as YouTube here soon enough and get all our channels rocking and rolling, whether it be OLE, Video Bros Network, or Prairie Pro Wrestling. I mean, we've seen a drastic rise in the last 6 to 8 months, especially when it comes to all of the channels here, Pop Smokes. And it's a lot of just that studying and paying attention, talking to the right people and learning the right things. And of course, support from our fucking amazing audience.
For sure. And I know you've got your ears open all the time, and you're, it's a good quality trait to have, to be able to listen to people and learn what you can from what other people know. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people think they know it all and everything, but you're not like that. And I appreciate that, Munson. And I know you've been taking some notes and getting some pointers, and man, you're doing great work here. But I was going to just mention about Logan Paul. I've watched some of his stuff, not whole matches and stuff, but he's another guy kind of like LT. He's very naturally athletic. He's young. He's strong as an ox, and obviously very flexible and all that kind of stuff. So wrestling comes to him. The physical part of it is absolutely no problem, but he looks like he can work. Like, he looks like he gets it. He looks like, by work, I don't mean just the wrestling in-ring work. I mean working with the crowd and working with his opponent and understanding what the crowd's liking, what they're not liking, and, working with that kind of thing. That it looks to me at this early stage like he's getting it. And man, that's neat, because he's signed a contract with them, hasn't he? He's going to be appearing semi-regularly or regularly. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, they're going to put him into those big matches because it seems to draw, it seems to sell. People talk about it, which is a big thing. Chris Best coming in saying, just going to point this out. This video appeared in my suggested feed. I didn't seek it out. That's what we're all about. Whatever doing, we're doing it right. That's what we want to do, is get in the suggested feed. So again, if you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, or you're watching this live with us right now and you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button, get those subs up, get the watch hours up, and OLE, Video Bros Network, it's all going straight to the freaking moon with the help of all you guys. We appreciate every single one of you. Auntie Nuji. Noise. Yeah, you bet. I don't even know if I did that noise justice, but we're having fun here tonight. But yeah, he does get it, and that's the best part. And his appearances are going to continue. They're going to continue in a big way. I mean, it's only a matter of time before we see Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes down the road. I'm sure of that as well too, especially considering that Cody is the big baby face at the moment. It's somebody I'm sure they're going to want to work with.
Yeah, and it's neat that Paul starts his career and will probably only ever be a top guy, right? Like, he's right at the top of the card, if not the actual main event, like the semi-main. He's a top guy there, and he's got whatever 5 matches under his belt. They've all been in front of thousands of people and on TV to millions and billions.
Yeah, and it seems to be working. I mean, granted, there was a part of that match at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins that was it took a little bit away from it with having one of his buddies dressed in his prime energy drink bottle. It kind of nonsense stuff. But outside of that, it was entertaining. It's fun. It's interesting. He's just got that arrogance. He's got that slappable face. People dislike him, but they dislike him, and he knows it, and he knows how to work it. And that's the best part. He absorbs it. He takes it on. He knows how to be a heel. He knows how to make you want to spit in his face, slap his face, whatever it is that you want to do. You're still paying attention to Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by working. This guy's made to be an entertainer, he understands the entire business, so especially of all that YouTube stuff. And I suppose it's a little bit like acting and a little bit like being yourself. And I don't know what it's like, frankly, but some people are really good at it. And clearly that's one of them.
Yeah, it's awesome when you get to see absolute naturals get in there and do that. Outside of that, I mean, that's all I really got in terms of like the celebrities kind of step between the ropes that I had written down anyway. Pop Smokes, any more you want to touch on, or should we maybe just talk some PPW that's coming up soon?
Yeah, that.
That's that, because I enjoy that, you enjoy that. And I damn well know every single person listening in enjoys it as well, too. Because we've got on April the 22nd, Saturday, April the 22nd, it is Prairie Pro Wrestling presents the Bridge City Beatdown live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It is going to be off the hook. It is going to be an electric night. We have got some great competition coming in, Papa Smokes, I'm telling you. Some big names. We got Cannonball Kelly in there. We got LS Aceto in there. We've got Sheik Akbar Shabazz, of course, is going to be there that night. I've also know that there was just a video dropped on the socials for Prairie Pro Wrestling, because you know what, Pop Smokes? Who wants push-ups? Michael Allen Richard Clark. He's back, baby. PPW, Saturday, April 22nd. Yes, Michael Allen Richard Clark is going to be stepping back between the ropes for Prairie Pro Wrestling once again. I know the fans are excited for this one, Pop Smokes.
Oh, the fans are going to go bananas when he gets out there. We should have kept that as a secret, and it would have brought the place down. It will anyway. They've all been missing Michael Allen Richard Clark since he's been away. It's been quite a while that he has been away, pursuing his dream elsewhere, doing other kinds of stuff. But the fans, as you know, Munson, still sometimes chant his name, hoping he will come out, hoping he will bless them with some push-ups. Well, guess what, fans? We're only a week and a half away from you guys getting what you want. And boy, he's going to be back.
Yeah, he is. And that one was announced officially, so that's why we're dropping that one for you here, there, too. That is not any secret. Not to say that there is going to be stuff that comes up. Who knows? I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to go down. All I know is what I know so far, what you guys know in terms of paying attention to the socials and seeing who's going to be coming out. Of course, we're going to have a lot of the returning faces. We're going to see a lot of the regulars from right here in the area as well, too. Of course, we never know who we might see make debuts. I don't know, Papa Smokes. It's always a surprise when it comes to Prairie Pro Wrestling. We've seen a lot of great debuts as of late. People who have risen to the top of Prairie Pro Wrestling very, very quickly. I'm sure we're going to be seeing the likes of, the Rhinestone Cowboy Stephen Crow, Son of Irish coming out here again to work for us. Maybe even Mars the Specialist. We saw Mars the Specialist make his Prairie Pro Wrestling debut just last time out. It would be fantastic to see him back. What a debut he made at the last show.
No, I liked him quite a bit, and the fans, I don't think around here were too familiar with his stuff, but he made an impact on them. He's got a good look, and I like the way he does his stuff. He's a real good wrestler in the ring, and he might not have been tremendously popular with the fans, but he made an impact in his very first appearance here. I'd be totally interested in seeing more.
Yeah, well, when you could go toe-to-toe with the one Sean Moore, like they did that night, and tear that house down, you're going to make an impact, and people are going to remember who Mars the Specialist is. If he is on the card coming up here on the 22nd, you'll just have to come on down to the Cosmo Senior Center that night to be able to find out, or you could wait for the delayed single matchups to come out on YouTube week by week. But speaking of the matchups on YouTube, I can say this, Papa Smokes, one of the cool things about working with NJ, who's going to be on the show next week, for anybody who missed that at the top of the hour, it is awesome because we are going to be using part of the song Akimbo for a brand new intro to Prairie Pro Wrestling that I have put together that will introduce the matches each and every week. Chris Best coming in. Might have to look up some Prairie Pro Wrestling. You know what, brother? Reach out to me. I can send you the link right to our YouTube channel where you can hear the lovely voice of Papa Smokes, and of course my voice too, as the commentators each and every Saturday on the show. We've been doing it for quite some time. And again, for anybody who might be hearing us for the very first time, that's it. I mentioned it before. We started Ring Respect Radio about 5 years ago when I started dropping the very first episodes. You had made an appearance shortly after that on an episode, Pop Smokes, and then it was in April of 2020 that we officially made it a tag team on Ring Respect Radio, the Video Bros, getting together and putting this thing together, and it's been consistent like that ever since then. But it was about 5 years ago, too, that we called our very first matchup for High Impact Wrestling, Wildside TV, where we did, I believe it was about 48 or 49 episodes of that show, calling some great matchups there, and then transitioning now to Prairie Pro Wrestling. So we are the team, not only behind the camera, but behind the commentary as well. It is a fantastic time. We got Basser coming in. Chris, I'm the loud guy in the blue Pop Smoke shirt on the PPW vid. You know what? You can actually catch the back of that shirt and Basser doing his dance and stuff in NJ's video. Akimbo, Basser makes an appearance in that music video as well too. So it's going to be a great time. I can't wait to have NJ on here next week so we can show the video. But yeah, it's really cool. We've got the intro video for Prairie Pro Wrestling that is also going to feature a bit of that song as well too, Papa Smokes. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe should I show the video to everybody right now? I think the intro video,
a little sample, yeah, sure. Not the whole thing though. You got to save that for next week.
Oh no, that's for Akimbo is next week. I'm talking about the new Prairie Pro Wrestling intro for our shows on Saturday afternoons.
Yes, that up to you, Munson. Let's do it.
All right, because we are for the people and by the people, and we want to give you guys the absolute best. I am going to give you guys a first look here at the new creation I've been coming up with for Prairie Pro Wrestling on Saturdays. So we will just get this geared up here for you guys quickly. See if I can figure out the buttons, because apparently when your name is Bobby, you don't always know the buttons too well. There we go. It's that share screen one there, Bob. That's all you need. And then we click that lovely thing right there. No, I picked the wrong one. See, again, you leave me in charge of producing. You leave me in charge of buttons. This is the kind of stuff that ends up going down. We need an producer here or something, Pop Smokes.
As long as we don't see your browser history up there, I think we should be okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're so worried about that, I mean, I've got a whole lot of just pro wrestling, heavy metal music, maybe a little bit of dance music, because the party don't stop every once in a while, but that's all you're gonna ever find from Buddy Munson.
Scandalous.
I know. Aren't I terrible? But anyways, this is only a 27-second video, so keep your eyes on the screen. Here it comes.
Yeah, stomping through the halls, we don't tiptoe. Kill streaks like we dominating Skid Row. When we down, you still never see my click throw. I just pull up on you with Kimbo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That is going to be
great.
The introduction on Saturdays now. So
very cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's been playing around. I showed it to NJ. He's on board with it. Absolutely loves it. Basser saying mint, Bobby. Yeah, it's a good one. Again, I got a lot of little tricks up my sleeve, a lot of fun that I've been having with some of the stuff I've been putting together. Can't wait to unveil more of it to you guys, more in the not so distant future, that's for sure. So yeah, can't wait.
And talking about celebrities and cross promotion in wrestling, we got that going on right now with PPW and NJ the Rapper. Let's do it. Let's get some music fans. Let's get some hip hop fans and wrestling fans. I think they tend to go together quite well, and we're going to talk about that a whole bunch next week. But yeah, we've got our own little celebrity sighting going on here in PPW.
We do, and I can't wait because again, like would have kind of said hello or good evening to NJ at the last show, not really knowing who he was, but this time around it's going to be great. We'll have had him on our program. We're going to see him at the show. He's bringing a whole bunch of his crew down. I think there's like 6 to 8 of them or more coming down for this thing. This place is going to be packed, Papa Smokes. I mean, we sold out the VIP extra special tickets within like 5 minutes. There are already pre-sales of tons and tons of tickets for this thing. It is going to be wall-to-wall traffic, people coming from all over the country to check out the biggest and best in professional wrestling in Saskatchewan, I think, anyway. No, there's a lot of great wrestling here in Saskatchewan, but we are right up there with them. We always bring you a great show, and we love the audience, the PPW Nation, because you guys are electric and a lot of fun as well, too.
That was some great promotional talk there, Munson. You're getting really good at that. Maybe you should get a little mustache like Vince McMahon and start taking over some shit.
You know, I kind of contemplated trying to do something like that for tonight's program. It crossed my mind to pencil in like a little dark mustache across my face here, you know, along those lines, so I could look rather villainous or, you know, or debonair, as Vince, I'm sure, thinks he looks at this point in time.
Oh, he looks like Snidely Whiplash.
He sure does. He's gonna tie some woman to the train tracks. Either that or tie Triple H down there as he takes his job back from him.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've heard. I mean, I don't know. I'm no journalist. I don't know what's actually going on, but yeah, it's pretty exciting. I can't wait to unveil it. I am going to put that video out on the next episode of Prairie Pro Wrestling coming out this Saturday for you guys. So that is the official, getting to see it here tonight, but official debut with our matchup coming out this weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, next week, the big show with NJ. Man, it's going to be off the hook. I want to encourage everybody to stop by, hang out. You know, we're going to be talking a little bit about cannabis, a little Prairie Pro Wrestling, a little music, whatever you guys want to talk about. We're going to do our best to keep it, you know, like PG-17. We're going to try to behave, but, you know, every once in a while, behavior gets a little out of hand. But we'll do our best to be at our best there next week. But, of course, it will be a pro cannabis episode. So, again, we do apologize in advance if anybody is not as pro-cannabis as we are. We will be talking about it, not consuming on screen, but yeah, we'll partake it before we go on screen. So join us for next week's big 420 special, and make sure you're subscribing and following on Twitch and everything like that. It's going to be fun. Papa Smokes, in the meantime and in between time, anything else we want to cover, or we going to call it a wrap on this episode?
I think we can call it a wrap. We talked about our celebrities in wrestling, and then more importantly, we got some good PPW talk. Just 10 days out of the next show in the Cosmos Senior Center, right off Broadway, and we're going to see some action at this show. And get there early and get your seats, or else you'll be standing in the back. I like standing in the back. I'm one of the guys I like being able to walk around a little bit and change my position a bit. But if you're a seat person, you better get there early, because they're all going to get taken. And get ready to party, man. We're going to have all the beer you want. White Claw's your thing. There'll be those too. So come on down, have a good time, and watch some professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. Can't wait for it, Papa Smokes. But yeah, we're just getting ready for a raid. It's going to be going out here very, very soon. I think that we're going to end up raiding someone by the name of Santi Sap. That is a recommendation for our good friend Chris Parrish, is going to be joining us on April the 22nd. So make sure that you stick around for a little bit longer as our good friend Parrish gears that up there for us. And to Wuji, thank you for stopping by as always. Thank you for the love and support. We will be seeing you in just a little over a week's time at the Prairie Pro Wrestling Show. Looking forward to being able to see you again. It is going to be great. But Papa Smokes, as I always like to say, in the meantime and in between time, where can the good people find you?
They can find me frolicking amongst the free thinkers on Elon Musk's playground in Wonderland known as Twitter. I am at smokes_papa. I am also on Twitch at papa_smokes_. Yeah,
I think there we go. That's what I was looking for that whole time.
Do I have a ticker now? I want a ticker.
Yeah, we got you a ticker there, Papa.
Hell yeah.
We're stepping up the game there for you. And of course,
how much do I owe you?
You know what? This one's on the house. It's all good. It's all good.
Nice.
You've done so much great things over the years. I can't charge you for that. But there we go. We're going to transition over to that ticker right there. That's where you're going to be able to find me. You're also going to be able to find me this Sunday with my brunch buster brother, Chris Parrish, as we welcome back Dom Smith on Busting Out. Check that show out on Sundays. You never know just how far off the rails we're going to go. And of course, you can reach out to OLE, whether it be through our email or through social media, Twitch and YouTube. We appreciate all of you, the likes, the follows, the subscribes, everything you do for us. Very much appreciated. All the love to you guys. And guess what? We're going to be back in just 1 week. We'll see you next Thursday. Take care. Till then.